We reached Somerset, which was founded back in 1864 with the arrival of HMS Salamander. That's the same ship that visited Booby Island in 1865, which we visited a couple of shows ago. Its name was painted in the cave. This was an armed fort offering assistance to passing ships and also became a customs post. So they had an armory, they had soldiers, and they fortified the place. And they were under constant threat and attack by the local Aboriginals who didn't want them here. The first settlement in Cape York, and the reason why it started was because of the Torres Straits and all those shipwrecks out there. There's a lot of history here. But prior to Somerset, there was another amazing part of history that played out on this very beach in 1849. There was a girl by the name of Barbara Crawford. Now, when she was 15, she fell in love with this sailor, and they came up here on an expedition, and they were searching for a shipwreck out in the Torres Straits that had a load of whale oil on board. It was quite valuable in those days, so it would have been an absolute gold mine if they'd have found it. But anyway, they ended up coming in through the straits there, and they got wrecked on one of the reefs over here, and she ended up holding onto the mast, and the rest of the crew had sort of got washed off or in a storm, and that was the end of them. Now, when she was there, the headhunters had rocked up in their big war canoe of about 20 men. They paddled over, and it just happened to be that the chief of that tribe had just lost his daughter, and they thought that Barbara Crawford was the spitting image of that woman, or of that daughter. So they decided they'll keep her. So they kept her, and they kept her for 5 years. So for 5 years she lived among that tribe up here in the Torres. So the only reason why she escaped was because the HMS Rattlesnake, which was surveying the area here, had come across a tribe. They'd come over to meet them, and she yelled out, "I'm a white woman, I'm Christian." They didn't quite understand her at first, but eventually they worked it out. So they came up with a plan, and they were able to get her back and get her onto the ship. And there she was rescued. And she lived to the ripe old age of 82 down in Sydney. Now that's an absolute rich piece of history. And a lot of people wouldn't realise. All those people that come up here and get their picture taken beside the tip of Cape York sign, they wouldn't realise how much of this went on back in the 1800s. Another shipwreck tragedy was the Spewer. The whole crew and passengers were slaughtered after becoming wrecked in 1869. The Nagi tribes, the island we visited, were thought to be responsible. So a party was dispatched from Somerset aboard the HMS Blanche, and the 3 chiefs of that island were shot for their part in the killings. So it was a very rugged part of the colony.